Hello everyone, I am here Makeupless and in a hurry, so I'm going to make this a very fast video about fire. And this is part 3 of my mini-series, so we're just going to jump right in. So fire is all about creativity, art, power, authority, passion, sensuality, and sexuality, and it's a lot about change. Fire is a very authoritative element, and it will burn, but it also creates. We use it to warm our homes, to cook food, to light our way in the darkness, and we also use it to forge weapons, tools, and art. So I'm gonna take a minute here to actually kind of give a little background on myself and why I relate to elemental magic. So I was always shy to work with the fire element. Its brightness and its masculinity kind of always like turned me away. I was always like, ooh, moon child, feel the earth under my feet and the tide ebb and flow and the air floating around me. Like, I didn't really pay much attention to fire at all. And there was this other side to me, like to my personality, that I was completely missing out on. It was this strong, passionate, and brutally honest woman that I was completely ignoring. But it kept coming out, and when it did, it was harsh. And I kept burning myself and people around me, and every once in a while that still happens. But the reason why I always shied away from it was because, like, the sun and masculinity. I came from a very religious background where the doctrine was heavily male-centric. You know, the God, the Father, the Son, men as the head of the household. I can word today. I has the dumb. Ugh. Anyway, so when I left that path, I went totally like in the extreme other way, like feminism, fuck yeah, fuck the patriarchy, in a equality kind of way, because I was so desperately seeking balance, right? And I really was seeking balance. And I embraced my moon side, my femininity, and I found myself. I was able to do a lot of healing during that period from, you know, the hurt and some of the things that I had gone through. And there is healing in those other elements. But fast forward to now, my dear, sweet, lovely sister, she says to me one day, you need to work with the fire element because you need to embrace the chaos and you need to learn and understand your fire so you quit burning yourself. And I was like, oh snap, there's gotta be something to that. And it just so resonated with me. And I did this fairy oracle card reading, and it was the chaos fairy, and then we went to Vegas and a whole bunch of things happened. I lost my wallet and I was just kind of like, I guess I'm along for the ride. And it just was so like, okay, chaos, yeah, all right, let's do this. And so that was in November, and what is it? It's September now, so we're coming up on almost a year since that happened, and I've really tried to embrace fire as part of my practice, and it's been pretty interesting. So here I am learning rebalance all over again. Fire is still intimidating to me. I look at fire dancers and like Burning Man stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. But I know it also takes a long time for dancers to learn safety and protocol for handling fire. So that's kind of how you should look at harnessing it magically. And technically we can't really harness fire. We can try and harness and hone in on it and control it. But, you know, sometimes fire just gonna do what they want to do. And it can be somewhat unpredictable. So in spell work we use fire to cleanse, to transform, to project, and put something into action. We hone in on fire for sexual and sensual healing as well by using informed trauma sensitive practices. We don't want to traumatize anybody further. We don't want to trigger something from past traumas. And I know there are a few here in the group that are survivors, and I am also a survivor, so it's really interesting. You know, I'm also a volunteer at our emergency support shelter here, which benefits abuse survivors, and they provide services and shelter for women and female identifying persons who are trying to get out of that environment, or they have nowhere to go. So I actually spent some time as an after hours volunteer for the hospital through emergency support shelter, and I helped someone, and it triggered my own trauma and my memories and things like that. So until we really fully heal from that, I don't recommend trying to help someone else heal from that sort of thing. And you have to be very sensitive and very trauma informed when it comes to dealing with that kind of stuff. And sex magic and things like that, I really feel like it's a construct by males. And there's something to be said about embracing your own sexuality and just really embracing it. And I encourage that. But if you need to heal first, it's important to heal, and fire will still help you do that. So let's see. Since fire is so authoritative, we use fire to harness strength, protection, courage, and progressive energies. Crystals and stones that we can use are carnelian. I love carnelian so much. It is an amazing empowerment stone, and you can actually use it to charge other stones and crystals without having to worry about recharging it all the time. Red jasper, amber, citrine, tiger's eye, any kind of lava stones, those are really great to work with as well. Herbs and oils, you got chili peppers, red hot ones, thistles or thorny stems from roses and things like that, cinnamon, clove, which stings, by the way, if you put it directly on your skin. Always use a carrier oil, please. Don't put cinnamon and clove directly on your skin. I made that mistake a long time ago. Dragon's blood is really awesome. And coffee beans. Roasting coffee beans. Coffee sounds really good right now. Rose of Jericho, also known as the resurrection plant. I had one for a while. It's really cool. So you can dry it out and it'll dry up and it'll look kind of like a shriveled up tumbleweed. And then you just set it in a shallow bowl full of water and it'll bloom again. You can dry it out and you can bloom it as many times as you want if you take care of it right. And it's a super cool plant. So that's a really good one. Things you find out in nature, like cacti or other plants that are normally found in dry desert climates. Sorry for all the background noise. My window's open because it's really hot. But anyway, bright red and orange flowers or plants. Again, lava stones or even previously burned items. Pulling charred wood or ashes out of a bonfire, things like that. And I feel like lizards and scorpions are very representative of the fire element as well. So if you have pictures or drawings, or if you have an actual lizard or scorpion, then those are pretty symbolic of the fire element. So last week I rambled on a little bit about wands and swords, the suits in the tarot, and which element represents which. Just to clarify, because it sounded a little confusing towards the end of my video last week. In almost every tarot deck I've ever used, and traditionally, wands is associated with the fire element, swords with air, okay? And to remember that, I mumbled on about how I found in a forum, somebody said, swords may be about what we do, but wands are about how we do it. Pentacles are about what we have, and wands tell us what we do with it. Cups tells us how to feel. Wands tell us how we act on those feelings. So again, a very authoritative element. And the astrological signs that are on fire are Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Fire signs. You're on fire. Those are the sexiest signs in the zodiac. Just kidding. Well, I mean, maybe. Yeah. Anyway. So that's all I have for this one. I did go a little longer than I planned. I like to try and keep these videos pretty short, but thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week, where we're going to talk about water, and I'm going to sum up about all of the elements together and some little bonus kind of chat. So we will continue next week.